Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to another live. We are Esoteric Liminal Horizons. This is Braden. I'm Whitney.
Hello. I'm just getting my phone set up.
Grab a snack and get cozy. Take a deep breath with us. And today we're going to dive into letting go.
Mother trucker.
And why we hold on. Too much at once?
No, I forgot that I had a split screen going, and then I tapped the little notification up top trying to move stuff around, and then it kicked it out. So I'll get it figured out. Boom. Boom.
Technical difficulties.
Boom. That's what happens when you use your phone for everything.
That's why physical copies, man.
We
went over this. Why have everything on your phone?
It's so
and then a computer
redundant.
or a laptop or a tablet. I like physical copies.
It's so redundant to write the same words on a new piece of paper that I'm already looking at on my phone, and it makes it hard. And then I write slower because there's like no enthusiasm behind it. So I'm like literally just trudging through putting letters on paper.
If it's already printed out or if it's already a physical copy, then I can make notes on it.
That's true.
I can scratch it out or I can highlight. I loved highlighting things in books. In class, it's all about the highlighter.
If we were better friends back in high school, Whitney, I might have made it through. With so many less complications. Because, gosh.
I skated by. I didn't do amazing either.
Yeah, but it sounds like you had way better organizing technicalities.
I wanted to be really organized. I wanted to be. I was not. I still am chaotically organized. You see my house?
Well,
I know where things are at.
Yeah, but you've got such a mind for it. Like, once it all clicks for you, once you find your system, like, that's it. You're going to conquer the world.
Well, we're still fine-tuning a system.
That's very true.
Like, even this new one.
That's very true. Yeah. Yeah. All right, guys. So
see,
today...
Monique says she loves highlighting. There's just something about it, man. Just on the highlighters and the thick marker and...
That's fair.
Love it. Just love it. So today we're getting into letting go and why we hold on.
Ooh.
So do you have like something that you know that you've outgrown but struggle to release?
Yes. Procrastination. No, actually, honestly, I think I'm understanding that there is a balance to find in procrastination more than letting it go. It has its place, and it's very limited in what I've got going on in my life right now. But, but I would say honestly though, like the thing that I'm struggling to let go of is binging things, whether it's food, it's TV, it's my leisurely time. It's just like always being in excess. And, before it was a comfort thing, it was a way to escape. It was a way to be able to just like have a moment for me. But now that I've done all this growing and recognizing that like it's not a healthy way to have a moment for me, I'm recognizing that I would feel a lot happier being productive with my time versus just trying to be lost in the feel of a moment, And then you sit there and you're like, oh, but I'm being present and I'm in the moment. And, this is just a practice of sorts. Like, it's okay. I can do this. Like, you justify it in the most disgusting way sometimes,
It's like you feel guilty taking time for you?
Yes and no. Well, it's recognizing it's the excessive amount of it that I take. Like, I go overboard. It's kind of like, I could go and I could have a whole bag of gummy bears and I could enjoy 3. I could enjoy 7. I could enjoy 10. Hell, I could enjoy 15 of those little suckers and I feel okay. I could stop there. I should stop there. And I know that. But instead, I'm gonna
have that with sweets.
Yeah, but instead, I'm gonna binge that whole freaking bag, and I'm gonna have that enjoyment of fulfillment, fulfill that feeling of enjoyment in one big burst instead of.
Is that what you think it is?
Yeah.
It doesn't. Okay. Well, I'm just asking because I had siblings, and I remember my dad hiding his stuff, his stash. So I couldn't have the whole bag. And I wanted a couple, but one wasn't enough. So I'd go back for a couple more and I'd snag a couple more until at the end there was like 3 or 5 left.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I can't even hide the fact that I stole these because the bag's not full anymore.
It's not even. It's
but you
noticeably
can't
empty.
take all of them, so you have to just leave those last ones. And then when I became an adult and I had mine, my kids were getting into it and they'd take them all too. So I'd have to hurry up and eat them before my kids got to them. And now I have my own stash, and I finally came to a point where my stuff is safe and I don't feel the need to eat it all right now because it's going to be gone.
No,
and I won't get to it.
Mine isn't taking the advantage. It's like it's so easy to excuse it away and allow myself to take advantage of the moment. And if it was solely the sweets, I could say maybe that's the case, but it's everything. It's sweets. It's when I decide I'm going to take, man, I dread taking breaks in the day because, minutes turn to hours really quick, really quick. And it's so easy to get lost in it. So, yeah, it's just I think that is the thing that I know is no longer good for me. It doesn't serve a purpose, and it's no longer going to be in my highest good because I can't be productive in that space. So, and I'm not
procrastination.
And I'm not saying that you can't overindulge from time to time, but when you are always overindulging, that there needs to be a break away from it for me, and it may be different for others, and I've done enough of the yo-yoing approach, just allowing it to be what it is and finding a way to let it lessen it. But now I'm at that point. It
feels like something so tangible.
Yeah.
My thing that I recognize that I need to let go of is other people's reactions.
Oh.
I have no control over that. But I know with the knowledge I have, I can emotionally manipulate somebody to get the reaction that I desire out of them, especially when it comes to confronting people about things.
Okay.
And it makes me feel icky doing that. But there's this control over other people's reactions. It's like you can't be liked by everybody.
But
you just can't.
But it feels safe to feel like how they're going to respond into it. And it's a blurred line. Like there's a fine line between being prepared for a type of situation to maybe unfold versus convincing yourself that's what it's going to be.
Yes.
Gosh, I need to be able to read these questions these guys are popping up, if they are. And it's not happening.
They're finally popping up on my phone.
I think it's because of how
I'm both ways. I love...
there we go.
I overindulge when I smoke. Impulse control.
Oh, man, that one has been a hard one for a while. I've been able to finally manage how much I am smoking. Or not even so much focusing on how much as intention behind it. So now I'm asking myself, kind of like the Grinch, am I just eating because I'm bored? And that thought pops into my head. So when I have that thought, I like to evaluate the reason behind why I'm going for it.
Yeah, that's how I got a hang on smoking too.
Yeah.
Why am I doing it?
Why
did I start doing it? What am I helping? What's the purpose behind it?
And what's the end goal?
Right. But yeah, no, people pleasing. It feels like a people pleasing tendency. So why do we hold on?
Because it's comfortable. I mean, think about it. Humans, it's scientifically proven, humans will adapt to any condition given to them and find a sense of normalcy, even if it breaks them. And when you fall into that normalcy and it is your pattern and the ruts are there, it's hard to break out of that.
I meant overeating when I indulge in smoking. Overindulge when I'm with eating.
When I was, yeah.
But yes. vice
I
versa.
wish I could say it's only when I'm smoking.
Overthinking, caring too much what people think, yet capable of trying to control a situation with my emotions, even though I hate control. Yes, but there is a yes, yes.
Yeah, well,
It's we'll hold on because it's familiar to us. We are used to.
well, and it served a purpose at one point. Like at some point in our life, it was an effective way to be able to manage and cope with life. So it's not necessarily that it's this bad negative trait that you picked up. It's just that like you're growing into a space where it no longer serves that purpose. It needs a repurposing, if you will. Sometimes that's completely letting go of the said thing. Sometimes, like for me, I recognize procrastination will always be a part of my life. It's going to be part of ebb and flow, but it's recognizing how to manage it in a way that is going to be productive, turning it into a tool instead of looking at it as this encumbrance. And if you can't turn it into an effective tool, then it is something that just goes away. And here's the thing, some of these things that you turn into tools will later disappear themselves anyway because the need will eventually run out. But it's all about just figuring out how to continue forward in whatever steps you can. You don't have to be perfect and get it all at once. Sometimes you have to slice away a few times.
I feel like there's a recognition that you need to let go when you recognize that it's not serving the purpose that it was there for. It.
Yep. Well, and that's like, let's be real, guys. That's what guilt is. Guilt shows you where you need to let go, where you've had the emotion for too long and you're not giving yourself the space and the freedom to breathe and move forward.
Right? I mean, if I've learned everything that I've learned so far, and I have this emotional awareness, this emotional intelligence, I know better than to emotionally manipulate a situation like that.
Especially because of how karma works.
Well, not only that, but the illusion of control.
Oh, yeah.
I can't control how other people react, but I can control how I show up in a situation. I can control how I respond to the way that I'm feeling. If I'm feeling this pressure to confront this person and I'm worried about how they're going to react, number one, is the way that I'm about to approach them probably not with love and with my own honor there? Am I honoring my true authentic self? Am I coming to them that way? Then if in my head I know I'm not, then that's probably why I'm going to feel guilty about coming to this person. Or maybe I haven't even told them. And that's part of the problem is I didn't tell them that I didn't like that.
Yep. You teach people how to treat you. And man, letting go is a weird thing. Remember, like control is equated to safety, right? I feel like a lot of people tie the amount of control that they have going on in their life to a level of safety that they can feel within their life. And that's like a form of it, sure. But that's also a very hard rope to lay across, if you will. Like when you can surrender, when you can allow moments to unfold and have the trust in yourself to be able to navigate them more fluidly. And it'll be rough at first. You're just learning. So give yourself grace. Trust your intuition from the get-go because eventually your intuition, you will build a form of communication with it that you will be able to actually understand it on a level that keeps you from stepping into the proverbial shit pile. So have grace with that.
But I feel like it's also words have power.
They do.
So defining control. What is control? What is this control that I think I have over a situation?
Why do I feel like I need to have it?
Right. Like, right. Is it the emotion that they're gonna convey? So am I scared of how they? I'm scared. I'm scared of how they could possibly respond because I don't know.
Well, and it's response. Well, and then you got to think about it. Like, how are you
fear
used
of the
to
unknown?
Well, and how are you used to people reacting? If people react volatile in your life for the better part of your life, that's the reaction you expect. So, A lot of the times you play the avoidance game because you don't want to have to deal with that reaction because it's uncertainty in how they're going to react. And like, yeah, that's a scary thing. But remember, like, past events aren't always going to be your present moments. Like, they're there to teach you, they're there to help you grow. And yeah, some of them suck. And when people really get wild with you, it's like, that's a whole nother conundrum. But not everybody is like that. And being willing to find out if somebody is based off of your intuitional feel towards them. Like,
Somebody put it to me in a different way that gave me a different perspective to that. Um, the people that I'm talking to, do I give them the benefit of the doubt that they are emotionally intelligent enough to handle what I'm about to give them? And in that perspective, I feel like, holy crap, man, I am thinking of it like they're stupid. I'm not giving them that. I'm reaching for a word that's not there, Braden.
you're not giving
They're
them
competent. They're
Well,
competent
yeah.
enough to have a conversation like this.
Yep, and it's like taking their choice away.
Yeah.
You're not allowing them to have the opportunity to have that experience with you. And so it breaks down to the whole communication thing. Like, that's where things get messy. A lot of people don't know how to communicate. And then it ties into emotional intelligence. Like, how emotionally aware are you? How well are you at being able to regulate your own emotions? How well is the other person able to regulate their emotions? And then it steps into language. How well can a person articulate their feelings? How big?
But 90% of the time, those people could handle what I have to say when I'm reaching for control of their reaction.
Yeah, I guess what I'm saying is like, when you see how much it breaks down, like, that's so much to try to have an account for, to try and have control. Like, if you wanted to
try and control.
Yeah, if you wanted to have control over, truly have control over a conversation in the aspect that you're envisioning, that's what it would take. So seeing how much you would have to break it down already, like, man, it's so expansive. There's so many possibilities to account for. That means you have just as many opportunities to have something good come out of this as something negative.
Right.
And you have multiple opportunities to turn it around to something positive, as long as you're trying to stay in that area or keep the communication in the area of, like, look, I'm just trying to get through to you. I'm just trying to get to a level of understanding. And unfortunately, some people can't meet you there. And it is what it is. But as you learn more of these scenarios, as you go through them, that awkwardness with standing up for yourself, picking boundaries, you will get there. And then it makes it easier to let go of the next thing. Right now it might be setting boundaries, but in the future it might be standing up for a belief that you have when it comes to work or even colleagues or family, and standing your ground there. And then learning to let go of that apprehension and that unknown is going to further open you up to continue to be able to step into the process of letting go of the things that no longer serve you. So even though it's scary, guys, it builds momentum. That's why we're talking about it today, because letting go of the things that don't serve you is part of stepping into the season of growth. And speaking on that, the whole month of April, our theme for that is starting over. Like, it's okay to start over.
Today's theme is letting go, but we'll make another post how I incorrectly wrote that the theme of April is letting go.
Yeah, I forgot about that post.
I couldn't find the notes. I knew I put it somewhere, and then I swore up and down it was letting go.
Man, all part of the process of trying to streamline.
Too many notebooks. I have like 4 notebooks, but I did pick one notebook finally to be. These are my notes for the live, so they're mostly contained in one notebook.
Something else to think about is reclaiming your space. That area that you're feeling the need to let go, you gotta let go. It's time. Just taking that step. Part of that is, like, it's reclaiming that sense of you in that moment, recognizing that the thing that you're letting go of is an attachment. It's something that you've invested in and you want to hold on to. You don't want to let it go. But that thing isn't you. That attachment you have is not a part of you. It is merely a method, an ideal, a perspective that you're holding on to. And it served its purpose. And you can acknowledge that. You can go in and look at how it served your purpose, look at how it helped you out in those times of need, appreciate it, recognize it for the job that it played, but then retire it. You can let that go. You can fire the attachment, so to speak. It no longer fits in your company model. What have you. Yeah.
Do you know how procrastination served you?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it has taught me this acute awareness of what my potential can truly be. Like you get this very brief time period where you get to truly funnel and focus your potential. And that's those moments where you're getting those last minute project done and you whip out an A, you know. That's when you bust out, you know, those are those, like, man, they didn't think you were going to finish it. You didn't think you were going to finish it. And you nailed it after it's all said and done with. You know, even the moments where you're like,
I was
man,
so bad at that in school.
man, it's how I survived high school. I tell you what, homework was my enemy. So I think that is one of the bigger ways that procrastination has served me. Also, changing my perspective on procrastination, and instead of beating myself down for it, just taking the time to be aware of it, to see what moments it's popping up, see how it's reacting, see what it's reacting to. I recognize there is a power in the hurry up and wait. There is a power in procrastination. It does have its place. Sometimes you really need that burst of potential at the end to really get what you want out of it. You're building that creative flow. You're allowing it to just load, like pulling back the hammer on a gun right before the big explosion.
Could that be like working under pressure?
A bit, yeah, definitely.
The military does a lot of training in that. You are given a very short amount of time to hurry up and pack that bag because it is time to go now.
Yep.
And you have to make sure you can go through and account for everything.
Yep. And it's like it streamlines focus. So in that regard, it was really fun to watch. And then starting to see the moments where it was really opportune for me to have procrastinated because things fell through. And then going back and looking at it, wondering.
Steph asked to join. And Sarah's here. Hi, Sarah. Are you wanting to come on the live, Steph?
Dun, 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 dun.
Putting the pressure on you. Stephanie.
And then going back on those moments when procrastination actually was a blessing versus a curse, I like to go back and analyze it. I like to look at it. Like, what was good? What feelings did I have? What intuitive pushes came about? You know, those kind of things. Yeah. It's not like I'm trying to find a place for it as much as like I'm recognizing aspects of procrastination and how I can implement them in my life in a more positive manner. Yeah.
If you want to join the live, you just got to ask. And here we have Steph joining us.
Hello, Steph.
Welcome, Steph.
Welcome me. I can't see you guys.
I can't see you either, but is it because you don't have your video on?
No, probably.
Oh, no, I'm not. I don't think I'm connected to your internet, Brayden.
Oh, you need to be connected to the internet with me.
Well, let's see. Bear with me, guys. We're going to try and make this better. Get up close and personal. Wi-Fi.
Well,
We can hear you. But we can hear you anyways.
It's like
fingers crossed. I love you guys.
Me too. Did you have something you wanted to add or speak about?
Well, I did. Hold on. Um, what you guys were talking about, fudge, I can't remember, but it was like,
Procrastination, people pleasing.
yeah, yes, the people pleasing thing. You know me. I'm a people pleaser. And sometimes it sucks. And like when you're too good to a certain person and they screw you over, it's bad. But then again, you still have, and I think you guys spoke about that, but then again, when you have people that are right next to you that love you, you appreciate that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
and I guess, are you asking, like, how do you step away from the people? How do you recognize the people that are going to hurt you?
I think we lost connection to her. Oh no.
Well, we had her for a short time. Let us know if you want to jump back on, Miss Stephanie.
So, for the people that have hurt you that are around you,
Recognizing when that's like taking course, because you've been through it enough times to like to see the situation unfolding, and there's that party that really wants to believe in the potential that you see in them. I'm a good person to them, they'll be a good person to me. Like,
having your guard up. I feel like there is a I want to take the moment to honor the fact that you are recognizing patterns.
mhm.
So when you are feeling that resistance or that ick or that irritation, it's there for a reason. It's pinpointing, it's a little exclamation point. Check it out. I'm not feeling honored over here. I'm feeling disrespected. I'm recognizing that this person is portraying the same traits and talking to me in the same tone and the same fluctuations that the other person who also disrespected me did. So I'm seeing it. I'm recognizing it.
Noticing the same behavioral patterns, if you will, and that from those moments, what ended up working for me was really just limiting my own availability to people. It's taking that full step back and being able to just like re-recognize yourself. Like, what am I actually okay with? What do I want to give? What don't I want to give? And like, if I'm not comfortable with being able to approach that person, what is it going to take to be able to start standing my ground, to be able to tell
To
that
stop
person?
the people pleasing tendencies.
Yeah, well, and really, like, at that point, for me, I had to cut him out completely. Like, I basically just ghosted them because I didn't have any power to be able to stand my ground with them because I'd given them so much of it, right? So that was a hard part for me. But then from moving forward from there, it was really giving myself a set of guidelines to how I was going to approach a friendship, like not offering help. And, because I'm so quick when I hear somebody start complaining about what they've got going on, I'm so quick to be like, oh, yeah, we can do this, or oh, yeah, I could do this, or oh, I know a person, or what have you. And before you know it, they're just so used to doing that that they take advantage, whether they are aware of it or not. It becomes its own thing. Like, making yourself too readily available is not always a good thing. And it doesn't honor yourself, because more often than not, when you're doing that, you're not taking the time to consider, can I actually do this? Do I want to do this? Is there some form of return? There doesn't always have to be. There's not always a give and take in relationships.
It's so interwoven. I feel like, it's hard to do a lot of that before you find your own worth. You are a good person. You're a really kind person, Steph. And thanks for coming on the live and saying something. You are a good person. We are all good people. You are a quality friend. So the people who take advantage of that, who make you feel ick, who make you, I don't know, if you had your little,
make you feel obligated.
yeah,
Yeah.
if you had your little breakup with that person or that blow up, and you have to see him again, whether it be family or a mutual friend of somebody else's that keeps popping up, you'll keep seeing them. It's a small town.
Even though it's yeah.
Yeah, you'll probably encounter him again. So how do we deal with that? How do we let go of that energy exchange that you didn't like when we recognize things have outserved their purpose and we need to let go of them? Recognizing why you were holding on to it, that emotional tie, that guilt, that obligation, the old memories that keep playing over where it was maybe a parent that made you feel obligated, and that's why this is stuck in you to keep pleasing that person because they got upset when you didn't do the thing that you always do. They don't have to ask you. You always do this, and you stopped, or whatever it may be. This person is taking advantage of you, or I don't know. I feel like I'm rambling on. We're letting go of it. We recognize that it doesn't serve the purpose that it did before. It was protecting us in that instance.
Yeah. And that protection might come from, like, you don't want to have the confrontation. That protection might be that you know how the confrontation has been in the past. You don't want to experience it in the future. But part of letting go is being willing to step into those instances. You don't have to fully step into it. You don't have to confront it right away. But it's
sitting with the emotion.
Yeah, but it's sitting with the things that you don't like so you can understand how you actually feel about it yourself. And when you know how you feel about it from that point,
then your feet are under you. You can stand firm behind your own belief because you understand it.
Exactly. And it'll be easier to communicate that with somebody. And the communication won't be perfect at first. It's always going to be something that will progressively get better the more you practice it. But that's the very start. That's the first step.
Recognizing the pattern makes it easier to break, to let go of. When we finally can pinpoint it like that.
Well, see, and recognizing the pattern allows you to know what part of the pattern you want to break. Where is it that you can stand your ground and then work forward from? There's always one part in that pattern that you feel most empowered in, and that's the place where you start. That's the place where you start standing your ground, and then you can branch out from there. But it's about taking that first step. You gotta want you bad enough, really. Like, you've got to choose you in that instance.
And you're not losing
anything
by letting go. You are honoring what it served. It served its purpose.
Now it's time to move forward.
We don't hold on to the kiddie toilet seat when we grow up and our butts can fit the toilet.
We let go of the training wheels after we build confidence with balance.
There you go. But I gotta go to a toilet. That was the first thing that came to my mind.
Well, I mean, I think they're both very
yeah, we don't need them anymore.
Memorable, what you call it.
You don't need to put them in a plaque and hang them on the wall. It served its purpose.
Yep. You can honor it by moving forward and finding something better. I mean, that's what we try to do anyway, right? When you're getting rid of your furniture, you're getting rid of it to upgrade. You know,
upgrade. I like that.
When you're trying to do the stuff in your business and you find the things that you like, you're replacing the things that you settled for the things that much more make your life more efficient, make it easier, put a smile on your face, enhances the experience. Like, that's all you're trying to do. You're just trying to find a way to enhance the experience of your life. And it starts by
being uncomfortable.
Yep.
Allow the grief and the sadness and the peace to coexist together. Letting go is an emotional process sometimes. Sometimes it's happier, but a lot of the times you're holding on for a good reason, and it's usually tied to something emotional.
And here's the thing, practicing the art of letting go is choosing it's self-trust. It's a moment of self-trust. It's a moment of self-respect. It's a moment where you are really like you are not, I mean, I can say acknowledging, but what is it that we look for in people? We're always looking for their validation. So it's a way to validate yourself on just the most powerful level.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Why do I seek that control over people? Because somewhere in a past relationship that might have lasted 5 years,
I didn't get to have
I
that.
didn't have that.
Yeah.
And it was almost like I could always depend on the reaction being explosive. So I'd have to don all my armor and prepare for a bad response. So if I can just
And honestly, like,
emotionally manipulate it a little bit, it might quell that strike that's coming back at me.
and and honestly, ah, dang it, it was right there. Okay. As silly as it might seem, your perspective shifting has a big part to play in that. If you're going into a conversation with your hands up, ready to throw fisticuffs, like you're inviting that energy in, you're setting the tone of the conversation you're about to have, and you're doing it defensively, you're doing it to protect yourself. But the responses that you've gotten thus far haven't really provided the outcome you're looking for. So being able to step into a perspective of openness, of like, I'm trying to communicate, I'm trying to come from understanding, and like, that doesn't mean don't have your guard up, but that does mean invite inviting energy into the space that you are stepping into apprehensively. You're basically setting the tone to try and give yourself the best possible outcome that you can get, because that's what you want, and you're deserving of it. It's not like you don't deserve to have an awesome conversation that allows for growth between people. Like, that's what we all strive for.
We can all tweak things so that we have a better outcome.
Words have power. Your mind, your thoughts.
Set yourself up for success.
Yeah, your thoughts have the power to change your perspective, to do the things. All right.
Sarah has a question.
I'm about questions. How do you get two different baby daddies to get along so you don't have to have two different birthday parties, Thanksgiving, etc., asking for a friend? Well, honestly, it's seeing if you can even just find a middle ground for them to be able to meet on. Like, maybe you could just throw that out there, and maybe you have, but like, where can we sit down and have a conversation and find the compromise? Like, what's the hang up? If each guy can talk about their hang ups and why they feel so twisted towards the other as they do, then maybe you guys can get somewhere. But insecurities are a hard thing to navigate. And when it comes to relationships and people that have angsty attitudes towards each other, that's always easier in words than it is in actions.
There's a couple different filters I feel like you could go through. Like, first of all, what level are these people at? Are they all at the point where they are emotionally aware and open to talking about and fixing things? Are you dealing with people like that?
Or are they still button heads whenever they are, like,
Yeah.
in vicinity of each other?
How well do we know both of these people?
Well, and here's another question. How well do you know both sides of, not both sides, but each person's side of why they feel the way they do towards the other? Because if you can be the middle ground and hear, hear where the mix-ups are in each side, then maybe you can find a point of commonality where they can, like, untie the knot, so to speak.
Let me throw this out there. If we're trying to help de-escalate situations, then we want to set a scene. So how would you, anybody else, feel in the setting that we're trying to create? Where's the birthday party at? Is it in a place where we can both feel safe? Are there both families going to be there? What,
Yeah.
And you want to create a safe setting where both parties feel okay being vulnerable.
Oh, I never thought about that.
Or maybe in a safe place where they both know that things aren't going to blow up. So a public place,
yeah.
a park. Are we in an enclosed, like Chuck E. Cheese, where there's so much going on?
Well,
that feels like a place that would trigger somebody.
Right. And if there are, like, very obvious hang-ups, maybe those can be something that can, they're not something that can be avoided, but it's something that maybe doesn't have to be approached during the meetup sessions, but with the intent of having some kind of way to be able to start hashing those out, because like you guys they're gonna be there for life. Like that's just how it is. Like they make the choices, y'all make the choices. It is what it is. So maybe putting that perspective there, like they're not going away. Since they're not going away, and neither side is backing them down or wanting to like disappear from kiddo's life, which is great. But recognizing that might lead way for them to like accept an inevitable truth.
Can they both parties come together for the same thing? The point is the kid's birthday party. So what do we want? What do they want for the kid's birthday party? What do they want for the kid's birthday party for the kid?
The other thing you could do, it'd be more long term if you're not looking to get a specific result sooner rather than later. You guys could just start bringing emotional intelligence into the equation. Books, talks, memes, snippets from Facebook, TikTok, what have you. Just start putting it in their presence, and it's gonna be something that they will eventually soften to, right? You put it, make it a part of their environment.
As long as we're not being passive aggressive.
Well, no, you wouldn't be passive aggressive.
But you could absolutely be passive aggressive with some of those.
But I didn't mean passive aggressive. It's just more like, it's like bringing it into conversation. And here it is.
The forefront.
You bring it to the forefront for them and be like, learning how to emotionally regulate would go a really long way for our relationship, for everything, right? And then the conversation is just a gauge to see their response. From there, that's when it's, for lack of a better term, is shoving it down their throat. You're sending them the memes. You're talking about it.
If they're butting heads, it feels too vague for us to really
put in
because there's so many facets to having two baby daddies in a birthday party.
But these are ideas that you
two different baby daddies to get along. So 2 different birthday parties, Thanksgiving. Yeah. That's. And really, there's a lot to that.
There is, but there's a lot of honesty that needs to be thrown onto the table to get there. So it's definitely not something that you can say, like, forget about it, but it's something that's definitely like...
Sometimes having 2 different locations might have to be the thing, especially if we're not willing to come to...
an understanding.
Yeah.
In the middle of it all. But working towards it, always making that the goal. I don't think there's anything wrong with pushing that long term. It's not about being overly aggressive. Persistence is key. And I'm not saying be a nag about it and like burn them out on it, but don't give up on that in the same right. Like you guys are together forever, or until the kids are old enough to where you guys don't have to physically be around each other.
Letting go of control
of the situation and that desired outcome that you feel is the right one. Sometimes it's having them see it. That's like a really hard one because it is third party. It's not even like you and a direct individual. It's for a friend with what you call it. But it's fascinating. It would be fun to try and navigate.
On the outside?
Sure, on the outside, on the inside, just being able to...
Do you not have personal life experience of that? Because I have so much personal life experience of that it's not fun. It is quite interesting, though, to grow with your ex, but not with your ex.
I've got 2 different scenarios.
It was a lot of years of button heads, and then finally, like,
But here's the thing, like,
we don't have to.
But here's the thing, like, if you already know you're button heads with this person, right? And if you already know that you can't not butt heads with this person, right? Then for your own sanity, why not make it fun? Why not just look at it with curiosity for curiosity's sake? At this point, like, you already know he's going to butt heads with you. Why not look into trying to figure out why? Like, what makes him tick? And it's a fascinating, like, experimental adventure. I'm not saying try and induce him to react in certain ways, but what I am saying is,
to let go of the emotional,
yeah, like the emotional
knee-jerk
exchange of
response
it,
that
yeah.
you feel from button heads
And
and not get angry about it.
and then just think of how happy you're gonna feel when you see some modicum of success, because you're like, holy cow, after so much observation, I have noticed a change in the patient, in the subject.
In the patient, in the subject.
Yeah, whichever. You know, like,
It's like
we
how you
have
phrased that.
we have done the things, we have observed, we've been quiet, we've allowed it to say its piece, and look at this, something is blooming. What could it be? And then your curiosity takes off anyway. I'm telling you, perspective is everything. It's such a powerful tool.
It is. It is. That
That was a lot. That was a lot of fun
was
talking
a good
about
question. Good question, Sarah.
that.
Thank you, Stephanie. Thanks, Sarah.
But yeah,
You-
those would be my two suggestions. Is you can't fix it yourself, so it's just trying to influence those guys to kind of like grow a little in their mental emotional realm and see what comes of it. Would be
Yeah, it might not happen right away, but
with time and persistence.
my past experience says with with yeah, with persistence
Mm-hmm.
after
Yep.
what was it, 5 years? We had a joint birthday party. I think we were invited to the birthday party that he threw. And
Wow. I bet
yeah,
that was your moment of like,
I think we even had a barbecue. And
yeah.
yeah, then he started bringing a beer over to have a beer with my husband, and it
Solidarity, huh?
slowly came around. Like, and honestly, I think the fact that I stayed true to me, I kept honoring my space, my peace, and I I never changed. Well, we always change, but like I kept true to me. And after he finally stopped growling and trying to rock the boat, he's like, all right, you're not too bad to hang around. Your husband's pretty cool. Yeah, all right.
You gotta love how that
This is
goes.
kind of cool. It's not so bad when we play along nicely.
All right.
Letting go of that control. Letting go. Oh, letting go. So many things. Beautiful today.
Are we ready to like jump into the
I think
prompts?
we can start your exercise. Braden
right.
had a beautiful little exercise he's gonna walk us through. And well, he's gonna walk us through.
Mhm.
And I'll be the patient.
The patient. The clients.
I'll be your client.
Patient sounds too doctory. I don't have glasses or anything.
You had glasses in school.
I know, I need to get them again. Something fierce. All right, guys. So we're going to start with the anchor prompt, the before exercise num-nums. And that is, what strength or truth within you can you anchor into, knowing it will remain steady even as you let go? And how might that strength support you through the act of release?
If I am going off of the people pleasing, controlling how people react, I feel like I can stay. The truth within me is that all this knowledge and experience that I have accumulated gives me the ability to handle whatever response they do have. I'll be able to handle it. So as much as I want to control how other people will respond and hope that they like me at the end of it, whatever happens, I'll be able to navigate it.
So leaning into your experiences, your previous experiences, in order to have a place to anchor in your own strength.
I'm strong enough to deal with however they respond, whether it's good or bad. Let go of the control.
All right. I like that. This is something that if it speaks to you, you can write about. You can kind of get in depth and ask yourself some really deep thoughts. Let yourself go crazy, and it's resilience, it's self-love, it's hope, it's courage, these are the things, these are your strengths, internally. There may be some strengths externally, that you could latch on to. The world is your oyster. Lean into whatever strength you can perceive. All right. And remember, I'm asking you about this anchor, I'm asking you about this anchor because this is the thing that you lean into as you start stepping into this exercise of release. Now, the feelings that you get from this exercise of release is something that is for you to be able to take with you when you step into those moments where you want to realize this truth, but it's hard. It gives you something to call back and have remembrance on to maybe make it easy to let go in the moment. All right.
So if you have like a piece of paper nearby and you want to do this exercise with Brayden, then take a moment and we're going to start in step 1.
Yeah, I'll give you guys a couple minutes. Let the anchor prompt sit in, as well as give you a chance to get pen and paper if you so choose to do. And I'm going to reread the anchor prompt one more time. What strength or truth within you can you anchor into, knowing it will remain steady even as you let go? How might that strength support you through the act of the release, or the act of release?
What strength or truth can you anchor on to knowing that you will remain steady even as you let go? What strength, what pillar will you hold on to?
Yep. When you start having those thoughts of changing your mind, or this is too hard, like where can you anchor into your purpose, to the knowing that you don't want this anymore? It's time to let it go and allow for new things to come forth. And the name of this exercise is called Reclaim and Release.
You reclaim your power. You release what no longer serves you.
The attachment is not you. All right. Let's get started. Step 1, identify what you're holding on to. Visualize, or if you're comfortable with speaking out loud to yourself, speak about what you are struggling to release. What feelings can you observe both emotionally and physically? Where does it sit in you? Where does it feel heaviest? Where's the tightness at? Emotionally, is it fear? Is it sadness? Is it a feeling of desperation? Do you feel destitute? Do you feel hopeless? Like, what does this attachment, this thing you need to release, make you feel? What thoughts and words show up when you're thinking about your struggle with what needs letting go? Are they negative, or are they positive reinforcement? Is there a single word that sticks out? Is it a phrase? Is it on repeat? Is it a rambling of things? Like, what thoughts pervade the mind?
That's a tough one.
Where does the bunny trail go?
I feel when I'm confronting someone and I really want to control how they're going to respond, I feel anxious, and I definitely feel it like in my chest. But like,
is it a tightness, or is it a flood?
No, it's not a flutter. It's like it's grabbing onto me.
Like a squeezing motion.
Yeah. It's like, oh gosh, here we go. Like my muscles tighten and I get tense, and I'm preparing for
an onslaught.
Yeah, they're gonna. What did you just say to me? How dare you? Something. Just flip it back at me. Like, hey, so this is blah blah blah, and I know it's gonna be a critique thing or something, and I feel, I feel tight.
So in that moment,
but I can't think of like the thoughts are like repeating.
Well, but I mean, you kind of just said it, right? Because that tension steps in, and as the conversation moves forward, the thoughts that come to you are
As I look back on it, it really does feel like as I'm putting on the armor, I'm like tensing up, ready for somebody to hit me. Okay. It's not a physical thing, too. I know it's going to be
emotional
emotional, verbal, right back at me. So I'm just
the energetic exchange of bracing.
yeah.
So what if you changed the feeling of putting on the armor and instead put up an energy barrier? Maybe it would displace the tension in your chest and allow it to be around you instead of in you.
Ooh, that's powerful.
Yeah, it just came to me. All right, we're going to move forward with all these little brain thoughts as we do this. So now it's recognizing the need. Think about what this attachment and what the attachment is and how it provides or protects for you. So for you, with this anxious putting on the shield thing, like, why?
I feel like I'm preparing preparing responses for if they did.
Okay.
So I'm not taken by surprise. And if I look back at how it might have manifested from.
So, wait, I have two questions for you. Do you do this because you're worried about the backlash of how you will react to them? Or is it more of just how they're going to come at you?
How they're gonna come at me.
So then how that comes to you, is it you're protecting yourself from how it's going to make you feel or from
Yeah.
So you're trying to protect yourself from how they're going to
trying to have a better response from them so I don't get all the
Okay. And so then let's bring this full circle. So what if setting up the energy barrier absorbs the impact of the emotions that they throw at you? So when they do come to you, it's at a softer pace versus this full on onslaught that even you're still going to feel with the shield and armor in place. So changing your defense approach from physical to energetic maybe allows you some room to breathe.
Right. I like that idea. There's something about really letting go of their response is I try to keep it in mind, and it's helped me quite a bit. Their response to me is a reflection of where they're at.
Yes. They're showing.
And my reaction to them is a reflection of where I'm at. So whatever they do throw at me isn't at me, it's not for me, it's
just a reflection
where
of
they're
them.
at.
Yes. They're showing
But
you their own level of emotional maturity. Yeah, well, and there's a lot of fear mongering that goes on, and that like ties into that from the way we were raised to like how things are now. And the fear mongering hasn't changed. It's just gone from physical to more emotional, mental. Like the battlefront or the tactics have changed, but the battlefront has not.
Yes, there you go.
Yes. All right. What need is your attachment fulfilling? How did it once serve you? How does it serve you now? And at what cost? So that's that one. We're going to jump to the third because we basically already answered those other two. But the third one, at what cost? What is the cost for you to step into that realm of putting on the armor?
Well, my friend Braden likes to throw this thing at me, and it just blew my freaking lid. I'm reliving it before it's even happened. I am reliving a past experience where everything went wrong and all the feelings and the sensation and the exhaustion in my mind, my body. I am putting myself through hell before it's even started.
Well, and what's wild about that is like by reliving reliving the experience, you are inviting the energy signature into your current space. So that sets the tone for the conversation you're about to have. And that person, especially if they are like more empathic, may latch onto that unawares and come with that attitude, not knowing why, you know. So That's also
Right.
something to think about.
Like imagine if somebody comes up like, oh, well, after you were doing these things and I don't really like it. So I'm like, whoa, man, you're really upset about this. Holy crap, dude. Calm down. You could have just told me.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. So reliving the experience is its own punishment, but also reliving that experience is its blessing because you get to take a moment and be like, ah, man, I'm so glad that we don't know what's going to happen in this scenario. And that one that I just thought about probably won't even be a thing. Like, it could be something so much better. Or it's just a reminder that like things could always come out worse, Like,
Right.
remembering the worst case scenario is like, okay, well, I know how bad it could be.
You really don't want the worst case scenario to happen.
Yeah, but acknowledging
We're going to try and prepare for it so that it's the best life.
But here's the thing: is like acknowledging it does away with the energy of it, right? By acknowledging that, okay, this could be the worst case scenario, it keeps you from having to continue to think about it and generate that same feeling. Even if you're telling yourself different thoughts, you still got that worry that that's what's going to happen, and that's still generating that energy signature. So by confronting it and being like, all right, I recognize that this is a potential of how it could go, but let's start thinking about how I would like for it to go. And that shift is gone. All of a sudden, that tension of like, oh, I don't want to deal with this is a lot less. And then as you change gears and start thinking about how you do want it to go and you start getting ideas of how it could go that way and the things you could possibly do to prepare it for being that way, you start getting into that imagination creation, anything is possible bubble. And then things aren't heavy. And then you're just excited to see what comes of it, but without expectation. Yeah. All right. Step 3. Reclaiming your power. Remember that need is yours, not the attachment being implemented to fill that need, but the need itself is yours. So, like the need to be able to communicate with people is there. Your attachment to coming in a guarded manner with the dukes up and with the pretense of knowing how they're going to come at you so you can be the most prepared possible for it is the attachment. That no longer serves you. The cost of that is not getting genuine conversation and actual communication out of that person. That's the cost of it. But your need to be able to communicate with those people, to be able to figure out how things go is there. That will always be there. We just got to change the structure, the style. The way we used to do things no longer serves us. We don't have to be in survival mode anymore. Now we're stepping into abundance. In order to step into abundance, we have to be able to let go of control. We have to surrender to the moment, allow it to be able to show us what it has to bring so we can act accordingly. Yeah. So remember, reclaim your power. It's yours. You have all of the options. And here's the thing: when you surrender to that moment and choose to observe it, you are not in that moment. You are observing that moment. You get to then decide when to step into it or when to walk away from it. You don't have to take it on. You don't have to be in the experience the whole time. You have the permission to just watch it unfold and see where it's best to step in and do your piece.
I don't have to put up armor because if I am reclaiming my power, I already have the knowledge of how to handle whatever situation comes at me.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't need the armor because I've already built the thick skin.
Yep.
I have built in, grown my own ability to navigate treacherous waters.
You have the agility to be able to dodge, dip, dive, duck, and dodge.
I just need to remember that.
Yes.
And hold on to that and hold on to it like a freaking anchor as I'm stepping into situations like that. And hold my anchor instead of reaching for the armor.
That's right. Remember, you are doing this for you. Your anchor, remember your anchor as you move through the release. You're capable of meeting your own needs. Take some time to think about other possibilities and ways you can fill that need that doesn't require your attachment. Start getting creative It's hard at first. You're not going to think of many things. You're so used to going back to the old circular of this is how it is. This is how it always is. This is how it's going to be. But you recognize the pattern, so now you can break it. All right. Step 4, visualize the release. Now, picture the attachment that you have, and you, I don't know, acknowledge it. Give it its thanks. We're not unceremoniously throwing this thing away from us. I mean, maybe if it's a disgusting habit that you're really just sick of having, then by all means throw it away in disgust. It'll feel good.
Write it on a piece of paper and burn it.
Yeah, you can do a bunch of different things. But for this exercise, we're going to visualize it, take it, and send it on its way in a fast-moving current. This current could be a current of water. It could be a current of light that just phases it out. It could be a big windstorm that's blowing it away. Whatever visual you want. Let it drop in magma and burn to the bottom of the barrel.
I am on top of the mountain, and I'm standing inside the volcano, and the magma is going, and it's not a ring, but it's armor, and it's just like the ring.
I just want to keep it and wear it.
But I'm going to throw it into the magma.
Yes, release it. Now, visualize that connection that you have to that armor, right? And feel as it pulls away from you. Each strand and attachment, wherever you feel that on your body, will feel a sense of pulling pressure as each one of those tendrils snap and break away. And you're no longer feeling the burden that the armor carries. It's more of a weightlessness. You get to be able to enjoy the sense of being you get to enjoy the new vulnerability. But no, now that's a good point to bring up, because that is a very common thing. There's this hole there, there's this emptiness, there's this vulnerability that's now in place. That's why you have your anchor. You can use the feelings.
I'm strong.
You can use the feelings.
I got thick skin.
You can use the feelings of your anchor to replace that, to fill that void, and allow it to be able to take over that spot.
I melted that armor down, and I turned it into a crown.
Ooh,
And now it's on my head.
I like that. I repurposed it.
I banged it.
Stronger than the One Ring.
Yes. It's not a ring now, it's a freaking crown.
I love it. And I wear it with pride and majesty. As a reminder and as a warning. Yeah, I like it. And then, like I said, fill the space. And then we get to jump over to the post prompt. This is also another writing, just sit down and think with it prompt that I feel like just kind of closes it out all nice and neat. Now that you have experienced the act of release, how does the strength you anchored into feel? Has it shifted? Has it expanded? Has it taken on new meaning?
Yeah, because it's a crown now.
Does that crown project like an energy? Does it sit in like just a royal majesty?
In a way, you could say it has its own energy field. So whatever comes at me hits that.
Just dissipates it?
That's okay. I understand that that's yours. That just means that's where you're at. I'm over here, and I'm at this spot. And if we can't meet there, then I guess I'm just going to walk that way. And you keep doing that.
I feel like I saw the words just pixelate into like gold dust as it hit that like energy field. I was like,
It's like releasing some anger. I feel like I've been doing that a lot.
okay.
Like I have my own permission to be the angry, and now that I've let it
Run its
out,
course. Yeah.
it's not so. It's just like, yeah.
Like, ooh, I can feel the spark there, buddy. You're lucky. That's all it's gonna be.
Is that what stepping into your 30s feels like?
I love that. Yeah, that's all I have for this whole segment on letting go.
We've got lots of prompts and exercises, and I've got this one last little journaling prompt for you guys.
Ooh.
And then I think we'll let go for today. I don't remember tomorrow, next week. What next week's?
I do not recall what next week's is.
But that's okay, because we have to redo the post, because the theme of April is not letting go. It is starting over.
Starting over.
And to start over, you have to first let go of what no longer serves you, which is why we started here today.
Well, and the cool thing about starting over is it's recognizing like it's completely okay to start over. There is a beauty in starting fresh.
You're never too old to start something over.
Well, I just think if you started something and you are like me and have started a lot of some things that have never come to fruition in the manner that you really thought they could take off in, don't let that beat you down. All that experience amounts to something new. It helps build resilience. And so, yes, start over one more time. And one more time after that, if that's what it takes. Get excited for the experience of starting over, because there's always so much more for you to accrue on the next
It's
chapter.
like rereading a book.
Mm-hmm.
You learn something new every time you reread it, or rewatching a movie.
Says the lady who never rereads books.
We weren't talking about me. That's why I said movies. You know, maybe you like rewatching movies.
Yeah, you're not wrong there.
Queen of the Damned is a forever I'll watch in the evening show, because I always watched it in the evening in high school. It's just like a feel-good evening show.
Mine was Equilibrium.
That's interesting. You learn something just based on that. So, my journaling prompt to leave you guys with is this. If I could go back and speak to the version of myself from the past that still hurts, what would I say to them?
Oof.
And what do I need to hear in return? Oof, that's a good one to leave you guys with. If you like journaling prompts, maybe you have an audio diary or an AI that is your journal.
You should read that one more time.
If I could go back and speak to the version of myself from the past that still hurts, what would I say to them? And what would I need to hear in return?
Throw some dirt on it. But honestly, that's a great moment to get vulnerable with yourself. That's a great healing experience. And it's scientifically proven that when you go back and tell your past self things you needed to hear back then, it literally, there is a physical change in your current you from doing that. So don't feel silly if you decide to go that route.
I saw a quote on Facebook that said, "You are turning into the person who would have saved the younger version of you."
Oh.
And that is beautiful.
Yeah, so now that you're turning into that person, go back and save your past self.
Oof.
You have the power. You have the words. You have the understanding.
Thanks for joining us in this sacred space, guys. Thanks for coming together. And if anything from the live brought up something meaningful for you, take a moment and hold yourself in love. It was a tough one today. Brings up a lot of stuff.
It was indeed.
And if you want to explore any of this deeper, you can check out our services at Ko-Fi.
Oh, yes.
And I'll share those again in the bottom.
Take a look.
We are always learning and growing more. You are never alone on this journey, guys. You are never alone. Thanks for joining us.
Until next time.
Next Wednesday, and we'll make a post. We're doing April's theme is letting go.
No, April's theme starting over.
Maybe you should make the post. Yeah, we'll just end with that. You need to be making the post.
All right, I will make that post.
Have a good night, guys.